They were all. Go want me to start again?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to be given the fact that we have a Jewish friend here today to honor my Hungarian Jewish grandmother. My mother tells the story about how they came to Saskatchewan as homesteaders, and they were given land that they had to clear within a certain amount of time, and then they would get their title to that land. But what happened was that the indigenous people would come by that land as part of their trek to their hunting lands. And at one time, the chief came to her father and said that his father had died, and could he bury him on the land? And she said her father said yes, as long as I am farming here, that grave can be there. So my mother says that he moved the cow fence back so that they could put the grave where they wanted it to be. And then for many, many years, the native people used to trek through there, but they would always stop and camp and have a gathering around to honor that ancestor. Then she said to me that her mother gave her a pail of dirt and some flowers and sent her out there all the time to take care of that in the spring and plant flowers. And my mother said, well, she said, it didn't mean anything more to me. She said, it was just like weeding the yard. So she said that. And what she said, her mother told her the story that when the first year they came to homestead on that land, they knew absolutely nothing, and they had to build a cabin out of a green wood. And when the winter came, of course, the mud and everything froze and kind of fell out, and things were bad for them for food. And she said those native people got moose meat, and I think what she was talking about was Labrador tea, because she said there were leaves that they made tea for them. And they got them through the first winter by piling snow around the house. And mother said that the her dad would plant potatoes and things for them, and they would exchange meat during the summer times. But she said the townspeople were told that they were like dirty savages or something like that. And so the RCMP came and told them that they had to move. And then my mother turned to me and she says, you know, she said, nobody ever told us that we were on their land. And that is my story, that without those people, our family would not be here because they would have frozen to death. So that's my acknowledgement.
Totally appropriate. Thanks, Abby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Family history of kindness from Indigenous folks and my ancestor too.
Mm-hmm. There's more to the story, but that's basically.
What area was that?
It was in Saskatchewan, in Whitewood, Saskatchewan. Remember, of course, she died. She told me all these stories.
Treasure.
Yeah. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too, in person.
Yeah.
Not on Zoom.
Yeah.
I would love to take a moment to introduce our speaker for today. Rainier Pearl-Styles is a deviser, director, teacher, and applied theater practitioner based here in Amiskwaciy-Waskahikan, formerly known as Edmonton, but she also calls Boston and San Francisco home. She received an MFA in applied theater and theater education from Emerson College, where her coursework focused on embodied practice as a tool for social justice, community engagement, and deconstructing classical texts. Rainier is a proud co-founder of the Fork and Shoe Theater Co-op, a production company focused on scrappy, DIY, accessible puppet theater, where they have directed and devised shows since 2020. Since moving to Edmonton, Rainier has been deepening their performance practice through the development of a new show, 100 Foreskins for My Hand in Marriage, which recently won the Jester's Tap Award at Calgary Fringe Festival. As a queer Jewish artist, Rainier's artistic through line is a blend of cultural practices with reconstructing processes to create and deepen community. Welcome, Rainier. We're excited to have
Thank you, everybody. I think there's room if you want to join us at the table. We can squeeze in. Okay. Okay. You're welcome whenever you want.
Come on in.
So, if you want, if always just an invitation, I'm so happy to be here with you all. I am here sort of with two hats on. Hat number one is that I am the managing producer of Common Ground Art Society, which is a local indie company producing sort of new, bold, scrappy theater here in Edmonton. And specifically, we have a show happening here at Robertson Wesley on Friday at 6:30 p.m. and on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. called Mass for Shutouts. It is a poetic take on a Sunday service created by the former poet laureate of Prince Edward Island named Tanya Davis. And she uses the format of a traditional Catholic Mass to, or she uses the structure, I guess I should say, of a traditional Catholic Mass to create a space where everyone is invited into a poetic and musical exploration of what it means to belong in community, what it means to be someone with faith. And it's specifically for people who have sometimes felt on the margins of certain religious institutions, uplifting the spirituality without the bogged down institutionalism of religion, which is how I got connected to the Interfaith Center. I have some little postcards that I won't talk much about it because I haven't seen it. I'm just really excited that we're able to welcome Tanya to Common Ground and to Robertson Wesley. Yeah, so that's sort of hat number one. Hat number two is just that I happen to be a queer Jewish person. And I'm here to, I guess, talk about that and to talk to you all about what the intersection of queerness and religion means to you. I use queer very intentionally. For me, it's a word that feels like it can extend beyond the bounds of who I'm attracted to or who I fall in love with or how I want to present myself to the world or the gender identity that I hold. It feels like an umbrella term that represents a lot of different of my identities. And if that's a word that works for you, yay. And if it's not, also yay. But yeah, so that's who I am. Yeah, I want to start with a story, I think, which is that in 2018, I was in, I guess actually in 2019, that detail doesn't matter. I was in Boston, which is where I moved here from. I lived there for 8 years before moving here. And I got to see a tour of the show Indecent, which is a play by an American playwright named Paula Vogel. And the play is about a play. It's like a play within a play. And excuse me, it's based on a true story about a play called God of Vengeance, God von Nikome. And God of Vengeance was written by a Jewish-Polish playwright in 1906. His name was Sholamash. And he wrote this play about a Jewish brothel owner who hopes to redeem his place in society, knowing he's acting outside of his values and driven to a place of
Oh, I've got it.
oh, okay. Oh, thank you very much. Knowing that he's driven to a place where he's acting outside of his values, he decides that he's going to redeem himself by purchasing a Torah, which is the holy text in Judaism, and marry his daughter to a rabbi. However, his daughter falls in love with the I think they call her the star of the stable, the sort of lead sex worker that her father is something. And it was written in 1906, and it was this really beautiful love story between two women who are sort of on the outskirts of society. When the play was very successful on Yiddish stage. It was written in Yiddish, which is the language of Ashkenazi Jews mostly in Eastern Europe. And it was very successful on the Yiddish stage. It came to New York on the Yiddish stage. And then when it was translated into English and put on Broadway, the entire cast and the producers were arrested for obscenity because there was a lesbian kiss on stage. And this was in the 1920s. All of that is what happened. Then playwright Paula Vogel wrote a play about the play. And in Paula Vogel's interpretation of the play, now then this is where it gets a little bit, so this is where it extends beyond truth, right? This is her dramatic interpretation of it. The actors and the producers and the stage manager are all arrested for obscenity. That's fact. Then, in her interpretation, some of the actors and the stage manager return back to Europe where they're more accepted, especially as Yiddish artists, in the late 1920s and early 1930s. And you can maybe imagine how that goes for them returning to Poland in the 1930s. The last moment of the play is an image of the actors and the stage manager waiting in line for a death chamber in the Holocaust. And her imagining of it is that the two actors who play the two lovers step out of the line of going into the death chamber, and they perform the love scene in Yiddish, and then they run away together. And the last moment of the play is a sort of a call to remembering these stories that have been part of this particular community for over 100 years. And they fall in love and they run away. And the sort of the main character of the play, the stage manager, has a moment. He closes the eyes. He says, I hope this is not our ending. And I think that seeing that play in 2019 was one of the more impactful moments for me, expressing an intersection between my religious expression and my identity as a queer woman. Because here I am, a queer Jewish woman who is in love with a woman who gets to express my love for that woman and safely be a Jewish person in our world, which is exactly the hope of this made-up stage manager from the play. So I tell that story specifically to say that these things didn't really become connected for me until I was an adult, until about 2019. I grew up in San Francisco, and I was very, very fortunate that my religious and cultural expression and my queerness were never in opposition with each other. The summer camp that was a Jewish summer camp that most of my friends went to was the first summer camp in the United States to have gender neutral bunk beds, for example. It was, they were things that went hand in hand. I had a lot of role models who were both Jewish and lesbian. I had a lot of friends who had two moms who were very involved in the Jewish community. I grew up in a very secular Jewish community as well, and really only became interested in the religious practices as an adult, and have been very, very fortunate to find synagogues and spaces that have welcomed my whole self as a queer person. Yes, they're a machaya, as we say. So that's sort of my positionality and my interest in those intersections. But I know that that's not the case for everybody. I had a really lovely conversation with a good friend of mine last night, because I was telling her that I was giving this talk, and I wasn't really sure what to say. And I was thinking, oh, I feel the weight of the privilege that I had. I came out to my dad and he gave me a high five, and we were driving on the way to school, and that was it. It's a really privileged position to be in. And I guess when I was asked to give this talk, I didn't really know what to talk about, because it wasn't something that I thought about until recently. And something that my friend Julia and I started talking about yesterday. She was raised Catholic, and she really believes in the teachings of Jesus and the beliefs of Catholicism. And she's also gay and doesn't know how to exist as a queer Catholic person when the church teachings are that her identity is against the teachings of Jesus, and against the teachings of the Bible, as an institution. So that got me thinking a lot about sort of the different ways that we perceive religion and the different ways that we perceive queerness. And I'm using that as, like I said, as an umbrella term that means gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, asexual,
etc.
however, two-spirit, however, whatever words resonate with you or with your communities. So I actually wanted to have this be kind of more of a conversation. And I think that what I would like, I have a prompt for you, which is, when you think about your own, and knowing that you all are here because you have some interest in the intersections between queerness and religion, when you think about the word religion, I would like for us to do sort of a community brainstorm of what is the difference between the belief of religion and the institution of religion? And where do those things overlap? And where do those things depart? And an example, I guess, that I will give, my dad was raised Catholic. His family is Catholic. He grew up in a very liberal Catholic community. He talks a lot about having a lot of friends who are Catholic and use birth control. The institution of Catholicism has an idea about what birth control might be, which is maybe don't use birth control. The belief of Catholicism, the people who practice Catholicism, are not necessarily that institution. Does that make sense? That question?
Totally.
Yeah. Does anybody have any initial thoughts off the bat? But where are those two things in tension, the institution and the belief? Where have you seen that in your own experiences?
Kind of like the people that go to church just on Easter and Christmas, just to get a fashion show.
Sure. Yeah. Do you think that's about the institution of religion, or do you think that's about the belief in the religion?
Institution.
Yeah.
Really depends on the culture and location, where the intersection between institution and personal faith happens, I suppose.
Do you have an example?
Well, I know the church I'm currently attending was attending church in an open field where their building was going to be built for a little while one summer because the church wasn't there yet, the building itself.
That's a really great, I guess, question, which is what makes a church? Is it the building? Is it the belief system? Is it the people who come? Is it the book that it's based on? What do you all think?
Actually, a song.
There's a song about that. What's the song?
It's a children's song. I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together, all who follow Jesus all around the world. Yes, we're the church together.
Oh, beautiful.
The church is not a building, the church is not a steeple, the church is not a resting place, the church is a people.
I love that. The church, I want to say it really loudly so everyone gets it. The church is not a building.
The church is not a steeple.
The church is not a steeple. The church is not a resting place.
Yes.
The church is all the people.
Yes.
I like that.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Well, the institutions, Judy, is to promote the God's commandments in the holy books, not to promote whatever they understand, because whatever is plainly mentioned in the holy books. So promote that among the believers. And then belief is different from religion. Religion belongs to God. None of us own any religion.
Yeah.
He sent us different messengers, God, different time, in order to actually make us aware more of the spiritual principles and also the new laws. So belief is something that if we truly believe, we put the commandments into action. That is the true belief. You just say, I believe in that, and then go. And no actions according what we have received, what guidance we have received from God through messengers, then the whole world would be in, chaos. There would be so injustices goes around. So it's important thing is really to listen what the Holy Scriptures tells us, and it's between each individual and God. God is witness to our intention, everything. So whatever we do, it has to be through our love. Through love, manifest into action God's commandment, which is all good for us. That would be we can establish justice. Of course, without any just laws, we can never achieve justice in the world level. See what's happening in the world right now.
Yeah.
Where is the justice? People suffering, bombing, war, blah, blah,
And
anyway.
the personal faith, the community and the institution. Like, for example, you might have a person whose personal faith tells them that they should go into their community and bring, I don't know, Kathy a casserole or Kathy a slice of cake in the hospital because she fell and broke her hip. But they belong to the same community institution of the church, which connected them to each other, which is why, you know, someone can bring Kathy a slice of cake in the hospital.
Yeah, I'm hearing something that I'm hearing in both of those is sort of the personal responsibility to act on your beliefs. Yeah. And for folks online, oh, I want to look over there because I see your screen, but you're actually, if I look here, I can see you. Hello. Folks online, if you want to put something in the chat, we're talking. Oh, you're on it. Okay. Or if you want to, like, I'll keep an eye out on the screen, and if you want to just physically raise your hand, I can call on you as well.
Yeah, Laura's hosting very well.
Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
I was thinking about what you were saying, Seema, and of course, I'm a Unitarian Universalist, and we believe that everyone is on a faith journey, regardless of the culture. And so wherever we are called by God, I believe it's an inner spirit, and I believe that we are all sacred. You can't hold a newborn baby up and tell me that it's got original sin and it's going to go to hell if it doesn't get baptized in holy water, which is what they did to my kids. Anyway, I've counseled a lot of people who are going to have a family and say, what shall we do? We'd like to have a church. I said, you take your Holy Spirit, your faith, which is already there, and you walk to the door of the institution and you go into that church, that institution. And if it nurtures your faith and it doesn't give you restrictions that are not within your belief system, like commandments and this and that, and like you're talking about birth control and all this stuff, you get your butt out of there and you keep on your journey until you walk into a church that has the Holy Spirit in it. And that's where you belong.
There's a concept in Judaism that I really love that's called in Hebrew it's B'Tselem Elohim, which means in the image of God. Which I interpret not that we as a human are made in the same image as God. God doesn't look like us. That
Thank goodness.
He's up over there, kind of 2 arms, 2 legs, or less than that.
Exactly.
But that God is actually in the image of us. And that the divinity is in us. That who we are is holy, rather than
Exactly.
we must be holy like God.
But
Our spirit is holy.
with the United Church, we sometimes make jokes about church shopping where people go around if they move to a new place, they go around to different churches to find a community that suits them. And they could be from the same denomination even, but it's like, this one doesn't really suit me, this one doesn't.
Yeah.
I heard recently the Dutch Reformed, I guess there's 3 different levels of churches.
Yeah.
And John Littlefield's in-laws, they like the church near my house, on 124th. More liberal or something.
Yeah, that's something I kind of, again, the theme that I'm hearing is that there's belief and then there's, I guess, doctrine, I might say.
Yeah.
And
Rules.
yes.
Just to respond to your issue, I have to introduce myself, as I always do.
Please.
I'm a Muslim like no other. And the more I grow in time, I believe that universalist is more of a concept that people should hang on to. So to respond to your question, I believe that institution is man-made.
You're there.
Is human, where belief is really looking at a crystal.
Belief is looking at a crystal ball.
You reflect in it.
Yeah.
With your own thoughts. And you walk away with what you think.
Very cool.
Yeah. I saw a hand over here a little while ago.
I call it human pair bonding.
Like birds.
I work in pharmacy and medical and gay, straight, bi, whatever, pair bonding. It starts when you're born. The first thing you do is put the baby on it, if you can, put it on your mama's chest, right? And that's like, it's central. So I think that is like one of the roots of pair bonding,
Yeah,
whether it's gay, straight, bi, whatever.
Yeah.
And that grows through your brain throughout life. And you need that intimacy. So intimacy doesn't mean sex. Sex is like icing on a great cake. And you gotta build that, or like paint on the walls of a house. You can't paint the walls before the house is built. Right? I've lived in the South in Texas. I know how people are. And I've been to Alberta's like the same thing too.
yeah,
I'm not worried about who I am. I'm 42. I love trees. I'm happy with myself. But you know, it's also that intimacy.
Mhm.
I don't randomly go around. The idea is there sometimes, even anybody, they have that desire.
Yeah.
But what's real, what reality, what's not.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
then to answer your, well, for the question, sex or love. I found that sex usually leads to love. If you're with the right person.
Yeah.
And I've been, so, yeah, anyway.
I think it's first.
Okay, yeah.
For me, it started maybe. Sorry. I said I hope you record this because I want to show my parents. So
For those people to join us on the table.
I think maybe it's
I know my friend there is very shy. Can you please have this chair?
And it gets into your spot.
Okay, so I'd love to say one thing, which is that, I met my wife on Tinder, which is the, infamous dating app. Perhaps you might even say hookup app. And my intention, when I went on the date with my wife was for a one night stand. I had gotten out of a pretty long healing process after a not so great relationship. I hadn't been on any dates. I hadn't kissed anybody. I hadn't been interested in it for a year. And I thought, okay, it's going to be low stakes, no love, no any of that. I'm going to download this app. I'm going to go into the city. I'm going to meet someone and then I will never see them again. And that is how I'm going to get back into the dating world. And I met her and I was not in love with her the first time I met her. But I was very intrigued by her and we got along. We had a very, very nice date and I spent the night and we had sex and it was nice, but I didn't love her because I had met her 6 hours ago. But there was something about it that made me think I want to keep seeing her. I don't know what it was. Compatibility, a spark of love, sexual attraction, and over time we built love. Very short period of time, as lesbians tend to do, and we fell in love. And so I guess in that instance, sex came first.
Okay. Actually, with the physical intimacy side of things, I am thinking of, they have people who volunteer at the NICU specifically to cuddle babies because it brings the stress down and helps them heal better.
Yeah.
And you can have asexuals who are massive cuddle bugs, but if you try to go any further, like,
yeah. Yeah. And you wanted to say something.
I just wanted to say when he was talking about the bonding.
Yeah.
About 4 years ago, I was sitting in church and there was someone new there. And I'm sure that you know who she was. She was a Buddhist lady, and very, very. She just seemed to have an aura or something. And every time we connected, this eyesight and everything, there was some kind of a bond.
Yeah.
And after about 3 months, we actually got together and talked about it because she was feeling it too. It's like we were old souls or something.
Yeah.
And she was gay. Anyway, we decided we just had to sort this out because it was it was very intense. And she came over to the house and sat on my rug and played with the cats and we talked. And she said that she felt it too. And I said, well, I'm heterosexual. And I said, I don't know where this is coming from. But I mean, all we do is look at each other and know that we knew each other.
Yeah.
So she said to me, she says, well, let's look at it this way. She says, well, leave it for 6 months And then we'll talk about it again. But she said, I wanted to tell you something. She says, I came to Edmonton because I have serious heart trouble. I'm here for a treatment. And unfortunately, she died before that happened. But I'm still left with this power that was between us. And when that gentleman was talking about the bonding,
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what happened. But what it taught me was, hey, Audrey, this fluidity in human relationships, because it was almost, it was so powerful. Where did it come from?
We call old souls.
Well, that's what she called it,
Yeah.
old souls. But we'd sit there and across it's always in the church, of course. And I'm looking over at her, I'm looking at her, and it was just there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was spiritual.
There's so many different ways to be connected to people and
Yeah.
to feel that, that's
But
what.
I had a sense of it deep inside that it could have gone the other way, that
Mhm.
I would have been more fluid. I mean, talk to people since
Yeah.
about that I realize that there's a fluidity, that I'm not stuck in one place. Like I'm not stuck there with my belief system. I'm also not stuck there genetically or emotionally.
Yeah.
It was really a wow.
Some
Yeah.
people connect to the people more than the church, like, they
Yep.
connect to the people first and then they adapt to the religion.
My grandpa, is Jewish, was raised in Brooklyn, in a very conservative, a traditional Jewish community, grew up speaking Yiddish, kind of very classic, and he likes to go to the Unitarian church because he likes the people more, and he calls it the Junitarian church. There's also a lot of other Jews there because that's where he lives. Yeah, he didn't like the people at the synagogue because they didn't want to listen to his stories in the same way that people at the Junitarian church do. So yeah, I think that's
Unitarian.
I think that's spot on, is that people, there's so many different ins to
Mhm.
You find a
connection.
community, you go
Yeah.
shopping, you find a community you resonate with, you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In this case, it's the Unitarian.
that for Grandpa Carl.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Going back to your starting from Old Testament, God created us.
Yep.
In His image. That is really wonderful.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, that image is the spiritual image. God is the source of all, names and attributes. Everything belongs to Him. But He has given to us. He has created us in His image. I mean, He has given all those qualities to us, so we can manifest to each other, humanity.
Yes.
The purpose is that.
Yep.
To show love, it comes through having justice and good relationship with each other.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast this week, also in preparation for this, that my dad recommended, that was, I think it's called When We All Get to Heaven. And I will share it with you all. And it's a documentary podcast about the Metropolitan Community Church, which was a gay church in San Francisco in the 80s and 90s. And nearly everyone at the church was had AIDS. And they did a lot of caretaking of their community who were dying of AIDS, and no one was paying any attention. And a clip that really moved me that reminds me of this is that somebody, and they have all of these really wonderful cassette tapes of sermons and songs and lectures and talks that are in this podcast. And someone says, I have 6 T cells left, which is your antibiotic. I don't know. Antibodies. Yeah.
6 what?
T cells, which is a type of cell in your body that can fight off infection.
Okay.
And when you have AIDS, your T cell count gets very, very low, which is why it's such a problem. He said, I only have 6 T cells left, and I've named every single one of them. And the last T cell I have, his name is God, which I thought was very beautiful. Yeah. Made me cry.
I'd like to go back to the initial question because I've been
Mhm.
thinking about it this whole time. The different, like the relationship and commingling between like belief and institution. And I feel like it's dependent on what that institution is. I think for us, because I'm also in the UU corner here, I feel like our institution is very much a structure that is there to create a container for people to explore what their beliefs are, which I think is quite, I don't know, I feel like that's like there's a different relationship there than with a lot of other religious traditions. Cause it really is, it's an open container. So it really is about coming in and like finding the people you resonate with and like exploring. I mean, you were joking about people denomination shopping. I feel like within UUism, we religion shop. Like it's like, what is the path that you are on and what are your beliefs? But we don't have any creed. It's like we're covenantal, not creedal.
Yeah.
So the institution is really about creating a container for community to come together.
So then I have a follow-up question
Yeah.
to that, which is, what is the role of a faith leader? Is it to interpret a doctrine and offer it to a community? Is it to help an individual interpret the doctrine for themselves? Is it to, those are kind of the two things I'm thinking right now. Is it something else?
That would really depend on the institution.
Again,
Yeah.
Sure,
Can
yeah,
I respond briefly to your?
please, that's what I want you to do.
Faith leader's role is to lead his congregation to hell.
To hell.
Okay. Tell me, can you say more about that?
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Based on ignorance, because all the faith leaders that I ran to know bits and pieces.
Some, not all.
yeah.
No, all of them know bits and pieces. Some are right and some are wrong. And when they insert that from a power perspective, I know it all. You misguide person you talk to. You tell them, follow me, not follow
In some
the
cases.
scriptures.
Absolutely. Has anybody experienced a faith leader who's acted in this way in your own lives, on the internet, from media?
they
I'm like, I guess I'm asking, can we all think of faith leaders that
Crazy people.
who lead in that way, who say, I
Top down to a kind of.
I am the interpreter of the text or the tradition, and
I
have a comment online.
Okay,
so
okay.
I'm just gonna read it because it's the first comment we have from online.
absolutely.
So this is from Len, and I'm guessing that this is in context of leadership, but I'm not 100% sure. So you might want to clarify that, Len. But he's saying to awaken, yes, to awaken, to fan the flame of desire for intimate relationship with God or creation.
Yeah, okay, so
Purpose of leadership.
yeah, I see a lot of hands, and I will get to everyone. The first thing, yeah, so we can all think of people, right, who
Yes.
use religion to say,
Follow me.
follow actually me for whatever power political aims. I see that a lot in the Jewish community right now. But then my next question is, I would like you all to think about a faith leader who doesn't do that. Do you have, can we, just in your own life, someone that you know who, or don't know, someone, I don't know, my mom sends me a lot of Instagram videos from rabbis giving little talks on Instagram that, yeah, I see your hand. I want to finish what I'm saying though, and then come over here and then come back to you, okay? Yes.
Well, just myself, every one of us has said this today, or thought this probably today, that we're all part of God, like we're all children of God. And we're spiritually awakening as we're here on this physical planet. Religion's been so, over ancient years, humankind has been so divisive, like everything has been divide here, divide there, with all the leaders that have happened come through and the one that comes most, to me prominently about what you said about love, the love of God, is that aura that you talked about, the aura that you felt, the love that you felt, that connection. I think I have to say that when I receive in the practice that I do, the art of light, that love comes into my soul. It comes into my soul, and after receiving it, it's like I get closer and closer to God every time.
Yeah.
Right? So we're here all to learn. We're all here to train. We're all here to accept. We're all oneness. There is no religions area where we're gonna go later. We're not all lining up at whatever. It's like it's all one.
Yeah.
You know, we're all on the same planet.
I had a hand here and then one online.
But going back to institutions and
Mhm.
interpretation, I would like to humbly share about the Baha'i perspective.
Yes,
About
please.
interpretation and institutions. In the past, when the other messengers of God, like Krishna, Moses, Abraham, Moses, Christ, Muhammad, they all came, there was not actually any assigned interpreter of the writing of the holy books. So anybody who was, able to read the holy books, so they would just tell the people, that my understanding is this, that. So there were so many denominations, arose within every religion, and everybody interpreted something and make a thing, and then this integration among the people, while we're one. In this age, the Baha'i Faith tells us and educates us that God is one, mankind one, and all religions one. And then in this age, the Prophet founded Baha'i Faith, established a covenant with those who believe in God and the new revelation, that nobody can interpret the holy writings because each one of us, we have different way of thinking. We interpret differently, but we can share our understanding. And it tells us that no Baha'i is allowed to interpret the Baha'i holy writings. We have the two successors after Baha'u'llah, his son, and then his grandson. So they interpreted, for they were divinely inspired. They interpreted whatever Baha'u'llah has said in his 100 volumes of writing, holy writing for this age and for at least 1,000 years. So he said no interpretation individually, but we can share our understanding. Whatever interpreted, we just follow that in order to actually establish the unity of the writings and among the people. So we not be, thinking, oh no, I'm against this. No, there's nothing against. We all have to be united. We have psychology says each one of us, we think differently. Even the twins, they don't think the same.
Right?
So the twins even, they're not the same. So means we read the holy writing of that and we understand, and then when we connect with our Lord Creator, so this is the guidance. Okay, God is witness to my heart in the Holy Quran said. Okay, then I have to follow the guidance into action. So the more each one of us we put the writing into action, then we make it a community and that is really beautiful, united, and we all help each other. We don't need the keys for our house then. It starts from our neighborhood, go to the village and town, city, and the world level.
Yeah.
So it all depends on our faith on the things.
Yeah.
And not be proud what we understand of anything, because we don't, our understanding is imperfect, of course. Words of God has many different meanings, very many meanings. And we don't understand all. We understand something, but at least the guidance is clear. There's so many mystical things, very difficult to understand. For me, the same thing. Reading the mystical verse of Baha'u'llah, 7 values, 4 values, it's so difficult. Because they're mystical, then how to connect with Lord. But when we have the pure intention, we'll be close. Our closeness to God is how much we follow the guidance. It's nothing more. It's a spiritual closeness.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No, thank you. Thank you. Can we go over to here, Gail?
You wanna unmute, Gail? You're unmuted, dear.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
And I think this actually follows in some ways with what we've just heard. As a member of the United Church, we call ourselves a conciliar church. So essentially, we create doctrine in community. We listen to the heritage of those that came before us, but and one of the things we have said in a document offered to the church by one of the committees of the church is that we interpret scripture in community. And so that's so then the role of leaders, I think, becomes supporting the community through those interpretations and through those new insights and so on and so forth. But to go back to the original question, that can then become one of our biggest challenges when we start to try to reshape the institution to be more consistent with the new insights we're starting to create. And the example that many will be aware of is our attempts to become more inclusive and more welcoming of gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender folks. And that has sometimes, especially in the earlier in the 80s when we were kind of beginning on this journey, that has meant some really painful struggles within the institution. So it kind of comes together like that, to the point where at our last general council, an apology was issued to the queer community among us about the ways that we have not been just and welcoming and inclusive, and the journey we are still on, and all the work we still have to do. So it's that linking between institution and belief, and how that can sometimes become a struggle that I wanted to kind of put out there. Sorry, too long.
Not too long.
Too long a sermon.
No more sorries. That's
No.
what this is and what I am asking for. I really appreciate everybody's insights. One thing I want to say on both of those, and then I'll come to you, is that I have a rabbi teacher who I really admire, and something that he says that I love is all translation is interpretation. And especially when in many of the religions that I'm learning that you practice here, the holy text, the word of God, is in a language that no one speaks anymore, that doesn't exist in the modern world anymore. How do you know the word of God if it must be translated? And I think that's where this set personal belief maybe comes from, and our own sense of our own interpretation. Yes, that's what I have to say.
I think we have gone a little bit too strong off to the religious aspects of things, but I want to go back. I want to go back to your presentation. And bear with me for a second. I spent about 5 months in the hospital system as a result of a near-death experience. My body was dilapidated, but my mind was very sharp. As a result, I came up with this concept that every and each one of us actually possesses two entities: the physical and the spiritual. And I wonder, time is very close, but I wonder if what make you go into the Linked app, the app that you started to put.
Tinder.
Sorry. The Kinder app. You were talking to yourself.
I was, wait, say that
You
again?
were talking to yourself, and then
Sure.
and then you came up with this, I'll try this to see if I can find the partner.
Kind of, yes, yeah.
Okay, so that is where I'm going. Is it who pushes you to find someone whom you can take us through?
Oh, that's a very big question. Yeah, who, why? I don't know. I think that I also want to say that this conversation is the presentation. There's no this is what this is. I love hearing all of your thoughts. I hope
All recorded.
you are as well. But I do think actually that if I know that we are out of time, and I think that might be a good. I would like to in the Jewish tradition, I would like to end on a question, which is that not one that I know, which is that is interpersonal connection divine?
Did you say divine?
Divine, yes.
Right.
Is interpersonal connection God?
Most connections you aren't looking for it, it just happens.
Yeah, sort of.
I've had it happen so many times in my life, but I think it's very, very deeply spiritual.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I'll take a different route, or I'll take a later bus, and I'll meet it's not maybe not the same thing, but I'll meet somebody I knew I haven't seen for a while. And it's like divine intervention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people start to go crazy if they're alone too long.
Yeah.
And that feels it.
Yeah. There's a Jewish blog.
It's the divine tribe
Yeah.
that pushes you in
Yeah.
that direction.
Seems like you plan and things happen. You plan things and never happen.
Yeah.
Then something different would happen.
Yep.
It's just beyond your control.
There's a,
plan God laughs.
yeah, I was about to say, in Yiddish, it's man schlagt, God lacht, which means man plans, God laughs.
That's
There-
usual, normal in life.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a great place to leave, is that,
So as the host, one of the hosts, I'll say, we officially end at 1, nobody has to leave, I'm not going anywhere. Rebecca may have to leave, but nobody else has to go unless you have to go. I want to say 2 things. Tell your friend Julia that Jesus, as far as we know, never mentioned homosexuality.
Not once.
And all religion is man-made, and many believers will lead us to hell, absolutely. And the second is that Indecent was put on at a studio theater at the university a couple of years.
yes, I know some folks who are involved in
Yeah, I
that.
saw it.
Maybe
Very
we can
interesting
stop the recording and
Sure.
can have a
And,
discussion.
and I'll be here for